hopefully a future music major. Looks good to me. All right, would you all rise, please? This Amazing Grace is what I have waited 10 years to play right here. People think we're busy in the fall. Yeah, we do 4 football games, Veterans Day, Christmas concert, maybe 5 football games, I don't know. Then we hit January. Basketball, contest prep. They moved our junior high contest up 7 weeks on us this year. So now my junior high was before my high school. The first Monday of March, the first week of sub-state basketball. But we did it, and hey Isaac, can you turn the auditorium lights back up for me for a second? To say I have amazing kids, I can't brag on them enough. People probably get tired of hearing me, honestly. But at junior high contest, would the following people stand up? Corbin Heller, Isaac Mick, Frankie Delaney, Bertie Carlin, Braylon Ballard. These folks got a 1 on their solos. Give them a round of applause. Following people stand up. Avery Choate, Riley Crossland, Carter Delaney, Braxton Sumter, Isaac Mick on piano. Give them a round of applause. These are your 1+s because they would have a seat. The judges were told not to give 2s. So they gave 1 minuses, 1 pluses, and 1 plus pluses. Well, when I explained to the kids what or the next, I would consider the perfect scores of that day. Would the following people please stand up? Hallie Mick on piano. Kimber Heller. These are my 1 pluses. Give them a round of applause. We're a small school. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Give them one more round of applause. Our junior high band, a 6/8 band I took to Sylvan Grove is where we went. And my 6/8 band, people think I'm crazy for doing what I do. But they practice twice together and the morning of the contest. That's it. I teach them separately and I put them together. And on that day, my 6/8 band brought home a 1+, and I was very proud of them. Give them another round. And we went to Phillipsburg the first Wednesday of April and played for Dr. John Knopf at Prince University. He was very impressed with my band. He offered Peyton Bales a very large scholarship if he'd go to France just for how he played that day. It's the way it is. You know, when people see my kids, they know that, and I hear quite often, I come to Osborne just to hear the band. Yeah, that's the heaven. A lot of people don't get to see this, but tonight you do. The 2 pieces that junior high played, we're going to play one of them tonight because the second one I've played in this auditorium probably a half dozen times or more. The next piece we're going to play we did at league band, high school league band. I was only able to take 7 of my high school kids because if anybody knows my rule, you know that you never choose band except for one thing. What is it? 1 high school basketball practice, the day before a game. And I have a deal with the coaches always that says if they're starters, they still start. And it's held me well for years. However, this year, the basketball schedule was set, and then they moved league band. And they put it right on top of the Osborne basketball game. And I was asked what I was going to do, and I said, well, there is no choice. I have almost a half of the boys' basketball team in my band. Of course they're going to play basketball. I have cheerleaders, I have girls' basketball. I'm not keeping them. It's not a practice. People thought I was nuts, but I follow my own rules. I went for good or for bad. So one of the pieces we played there, our conductor was from McPherson College, and I plan to get him here in the fall to work with some of my players. But he is so enamored with the next composer, Carol Britton Chambers. This piece is called Softly Speaks the Night. Hey Isaac, you want to show the lights again, please? But I need a 5th grader before we start. Yeah. Occasionally I see a player that doesn't get to play what they normally play on their instrument, and she's learning the bells. And I couldn't show her the band experience So tonight, she's going to get to play with my baby. This is Softly Speaks Tonight. Yes, I know I kind of changed the program order just a touch, but the way things were going, it just seemed okay. Okay, so this has been an interesting year with the schedule changes and stuff. It really changed how I get to work with my 5th grade this year. 5th grade, when the high school's off, come on, let's go. And so I see them on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And you wouldn't believe how much of a difference it makes. And especially the last couple of weeks, I think I've seen them out of 8 times, I think I've seen them like 3, maybe 4 times in the last 2 weeks. And so tonight we're going to do 2 songs for you. The first being Kumbaya. And obviously the song, I was amazed how none of these kids knew what Kumbaya was. And when I sang it for them, they're like, no clue. So they got to learn a few things, but along with what they learned, they found out very quickly Mrs. B doesn't always direct in a very steady tempo. And so they've had to learn to really watch. So this is Kumbaya. And they're such a small group anyway. They don't understand what it is to play by themselves or on their own parts. And so I brought in some reinforcements to try to encourage them to end this year on a very positive note that this is what the future. Yes, they just heard my big band play. Great. It's not playing in my big band. And so I brought a little help to give them just a taste of what that's going to look like next year and down the road. Make sure your orange down here along the rail. You guys over there on the deck. Zero leave there. Right? Okay. Okay, junior high. last year, I had one player that played. He's now a freshman. Josh Choate on Barry sax. And by the way, hey Josh, hold up that new Barry sax. Show it off. We have a brand new Barry sax. There we go. I'll talk about it a little more here in a little bit, but I need to show it off because that saxophone, thanks to grants from OCCF, we were able to acquire that brand new Barry sax, which sounds wonderful. But back to KBA, the director of the band that this year was Aaron Keaton Howard. Well, the next piece you see is written by Aaron Keaton Howard. And it was a world premiere. That piece was just put out to the public in June, and he got to play it in July. She had to early release it to KBA. And so I try to take the pieces that my bands, when they do honor bands, that they like the best, and I try to get them and to play them. I will, just before I go on, I do have somebody who made this year's KBA band. Gardner Delaney, please stand up. He is my representative for Osborne. He'll be going to Wichita in July. So, and I guarantee you I've seen the music, that he has one of the youngest conductors we've ever had. He's only like 24. And in the band world, for conductors doing world stuff, that's pretty young. So you'll get to hear some of that music next year. So, tonight we're going to play. Joan of Arc was written during COVID when she was just wanting to try to test her hand at writing music. And this is what she produced. clap between the movements. The first movement, these two movements come from one of the most famous things written for concert band when concert band was just beginning in the really early 1900s. And the composer was Percy Grainger. This man was certifiably crazy. And I had a director in college. He did his master's, or his doctorate, on Percy Grainger. That man was a little bit crazy too. It wasn't surprising. He also owned every John Philip Sousa march in its original key. We didn't get in trouble when I played the band in college, I guarantee you, because he'd walk over and pick one out. But Lincoln Shire Posey, there are normally 7 movements to this work. And one of the movements, not even college bands, I played this in college, and not even the colleges play all 7 movements. The 6 movements are real doozy. But, so Michael Sweeney took 2 movements out of this. The first movement, the whole band is going to play. Obviously, they're going to play both pieces. But the second movement is the second piece that my 6/8 band took to contest. And a lot of people said I was crazy. I said, well, there are things in this piece that I need them to learn. I need them to learn staccatos. I need them to learn all these things. And yes, this piece is hard, but it's not above them. They may have to work a little bit. So, I hope you enjoy 2 movements from Lincoln Shire Posey. grade, stay standing up. Give them one more round of applause. You need to shift over. Oh. Now to give them a little bit of a chop break. Okay, after we finish junior high contest, then a month later, I took 7, 6, 7, I lose track, soloists to contest, and at Cloud County, this was regional Acacia. Would the following people that please stand up? Gavin Schaefer, Abby Rigney, J.Lo Larry, Creighton Bales. 1 outstanding, 2 excellent. Give them a raise. They all got 2. I will be easy to say that I did not necessarily agree with the judging that day. And so I hope that this doesn't distract my players from not going on and playing solos in the future, because those are some very great players that should have, every one of them, been in state. Would the following people please stand up? Mary Carlin, Porter Choate, Josh Choate. Would you please walk up here, please? Oh, I like the flag and medals when they're on this. Kayla, find it on my desk. I left a Ziploc bag of medals. Alright, so these 3 young people went to state. And Josh performed first. He played for a man that I've known for 40 years when I was in high school. I didn't like him then, but he's grown on me as we have worked together. But Josh played on that brand new Bear sax. Oh, I forgot it too. I know who I forgot. Deacon Dill. Where are you? Deacon Dill also got it too. It just dawned on me. There's another Bear player I missed. I'm sorry, I forgot him in the program. That's on me. Give him a round of applause. Okay. So, you're going to have to come over here. So, when you go, get out of it. Okay, when you go to regionals, you get a little medal like this. Take one. Oh, is that one? Did I flip here? Okay, 1, 2. Where's it? 1, 2. I've got them in my house. Oh, there it is. It's 7. Okay, so you get one of those down. Okay, so, as I was saying, Josh played for a man I've known for 40 years, and when he finished playing, they left, the kids all left, and he said to me, "That kid of yours, he just made my day." So, I walked out to Josh and I said, "I don't think you got a 2 today." And he said, I don't know. I said, "Well, the man just said you made his day." Well, not only did Josh get a 1, there's a reason it says the exception in your program for Mr. Josh Choate. The judge not only said he says, "I don't give perfect scores. However, you are the exception." And I guarantee you he deserved it. Now, we changed rooms and we went to another judge that is nationally renowned in our country, is a director at K-State, and has been influential. I felt like our kids had good judges. So, oh yes, Mary played first. Mary had a busy day. She sang in the Girls on brother, you know those jokes, those names just go together. He played after that. He played one of the best times I've heard him play yet. He's getting constantly better and just a joy to listen to. And I know there's an accompanist in the back that can't wait to play for him again because he also came home with a one. Speaking of the ladies in the back, Sheila McReynolds and Joan Smith, would you please stand up? For high school, they did 10 solos each. So give them one more round of applause. And as a gift from me to you, that box of flowers back there, minus one bundle for Mrs. Droppelman, who I'll talk about here in a little bit. Those are for you. Please split them. I don't care how you split them. I'm not going home with any, so y'all are taking them. I don't want any. Because I kill flowers. I buy them and I give them to people. You grow them, not me. Give them one more round of applause. Now the time that I dread. I said earlier that when I chose the piece for this year, I guarantee it was very easy to pick one of our contest pieces. But I'm going to let him tell you what his name for his, and I think this says a lot about who Peyton is and what he's been to me and my band. Peyton, what was your piece at for your solo?
I put it in
As in, it is well with my soul. That is, and I didn't pick the piece for him. His accompanist did. My mother did. Because I couldn't find a hymn that fit him. She goes, why don't you just find it as well? So I did, and they put it together. They played it a couple times. But that still doesn't put anybody. I'm trying really hard not to lose it because this is Bales number 3 that I have had. I've had a Bales in my band. Yeah, there's still one sitting over here. No. Oh yeah, you moved over. You were right there. So I'm working on finishing up. You know, I'm on the last Bales. But Reagan was hard to get rid of. Graham it was a joy to, in fact, I'll be going to Reagan's wedding, reception this summer. It's just been a joy to watch these kids. And they always treat with my mother with such respect. And therefore, this award that I have just sitting on my leg talks about respect and honor and leadership and all the things that make this band great. Well, he has certainly been that. The John Philip Sousa Outstanding Senior goes to Peyton Bale. It made it through. These were in my car when I flipped it 10 years ago. And I came out with lots of scratches. They came out with none. The other award that I give every year is the Patrick Gilmore Director's Choice Award. And I have been known to give this to one or two people. They're always for different reasons that I give them. Well, the first one one that's name is on this plaque says Isaac Turner. And Isaac came to me 4 years ago, and I don't play anything but guitars. And I said, we don't do guitar. And he sat and listened, and next thing I knew, I got a tap on my shoulder, and he said, I want to play that big gold thing back there. And I said, what? And he said, that gold drum. I said, so we went and we played. And he's been playing for me ever since. People think the triangle part is easy. It's just the triangle. I have given him some of the hardest parts that I've ever worked with, and he's met them. He's played Shine for me. He switched instruments tonight. He has never told me no. So when I started this, when I found out how much he could play, we were playing a patriotic piece that had a chime part, and it was, and I said, he played it. He did what I asked him to do, and I said, oh, by the way, you're playing at the concert. And he said, no, I'm not. And I said, well, yes, you are, because I need you. And that's all it took. So tonight, I felt like giving you something special from me to you. I gave him an MVP of the band, and it says, Isaac Turner, because we needed you. Give him a round of applause. Has ever been given to a junior high student, but I can't think of a better choice with all the schedule changes and everything. Raise your hand if you're an 8th grader in my band this year. She's it. I lost all of my 8th graders. You are not an 8th grader. You just, one more. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry, I forgot you're in the drum section. My bad. I lose track of the Carlins. There's only 9 of them. Come on. But this doesn't change my answer of why I chose Hallie as an 8th grader to put her name on this plaque as my director's choice award. Because Hallie has done everything when we went to contest. That piece you just heard, she had to play lead on it. She has done everything I've asked, and she stayed with me. They both have, but you know, when I lost most of mine to weights because they wanted to go with their friends, Hallie stayed with me. And yes, so did Libby. But I have a fair amount of drummers. And I have a fair amount of trumpet players. But I don't have a fair amount of lead trumpet players. So tonight, the Patrick Gilmore Director's Choice Award goes to Isaac Turner and Hallie Mick. Yeah, because it was up there. One of them. You can go down. So, wow, I don't know what I'm going to do without that young man. He puts a smile on my face every day. So, I always say that I do an hour concert except for this one, and I'm giving grace because I have to give the senior award. We have 3 more pieces for you tonight. The first one is Silver Creek. I did this, it's been years ago, and I had a trumpet player, obviously, ask me to pull it back out, and so I did. And who's got the flugelhorn right now? Mary and Porter spend time flipping. You heard in that last piece, and I forgot to recognize her, in Lincoln Shire Posing. Mary Carlin took the trumpet solo from a world-renowned piece, and she played it all by herself in that middle section. And then in this piece, you're going to see, there's several trumpet solos, and they're going They do what they do. I don't even know who plays them. I just wrote the piece. The second piece we're going to play is Kilauea, the volcano's fury. And that's where I get to talk about the last person because I got to get it out before. Mrs. Droppelman, I'm not going to make you come up here, but Mrs. Droppelman is Isaac's parent. And she came to my room 4 years ago? 4 years ago and said, I don't know how to read music. I said, I don't care, I'll take care of it. But as these 4 years went, she went to music things and plays and stuff and said, she'll come back, you never guess what I heard. I know where the sound came from. Because of listening to my band, she learned a different appreciation of music, I would say. And so I ran out of drummers to play this next piece, and I didn't want to use the sixth graders, Kilauea. And she said, I've flown over a volcano, so she's going to get to be part of the volcano and tonight play gong for us. But for me, she played for me, a year or two ago. And because, I needed a gong player. And I don't think I have another student coming up that she's going to be in my room, which means this may be the last time I have her in my room. I don't know. But this is my way of saying thank you. So would you all give her a round of applause, please? And the last piece we're going to play is Zia. It was a march that they did at, and my band normally doesn't like marches, but I think they like this one. So I'm going to run these three pieces. Yes, you can clap between them, but I'm going to run them one after another, and we're going to finish up tonight. So, here we go. You have it, yep. that French horn. But Mary took the music, and that's what they decided to do. So, ready? I'm going to recognize Skylar Barfield. Yeah. I got to make sure I mix the Barfields up sometimes. I've had all of them too. She's a 7th grader, and like that last piece, that terrified her, but she played that. It's not a solo, but usually there's a whole bunch of them. And she did it all by herself. Can you give her a round of applause? Our last piece is Zia Zia. Claude Teasman, he was one of the very famous March Kings, right along with John Philip Sousa and the greats. And so every honor band I've ever been a part of, you play something fast and fun, you play something slow, and and you play a march. And usually, if you can throw something patriotic, that's good too. So this was a merge with these kids, but the junior high, unlike a lot of schools in our league that are not 7-12, their junior high didn't have to learn this march. Too bad. Mine did. Here we go. Do it again. 1, 2, 1 and 2, and ready to go. Isaac, come out here. Give him one more